There are many instances, as Muslims, and I'm sure you will be aware, where we are told, okay, we must not lie, we must not cheat, You can Google it, you don't need any. You must not cheat, you must not do this. Be just, even against your own self. Now, that's Surah 4, 135. I'm asking you this, Arul, because I did say when we started, apply reason in so many words, When it says, I have to be just against myself, and I have an oath to do something with someone, and I willy-nilly, according to you, break it, am I being just against myself, or am I being unjust against myself? I'll ask you to think about that, number one. Number two, you see, this conversation that you have brought, in a nutshell, okay, we can end between the polar opposite of the Bible creator and the Quran creator. My view is the creator is one, and everything that the creator does is consistent. If there is inconsistencies between what is contained in the Bible and in the Quran, then I can confidently assert that the Quran, as in Surah 5 verse 48, tells us very clearly that it is the one that oversees everything that had come prior. Then if there is any misunderstanding in here, it is the misunderstanding that we need to remove. Now, if I were to say to you, right, listen, Arul, your reasoning is that everything that the Bible contains is all about justice, all about truth, all about...
Sorry, I'm listening.
No, I don't speak to people who are doing two things at the same time.
No, I'm listening. Shabir, you must...
Are you sure?
I am listening.
I'll carry on then.
Yeah.
You see...
I'm taking notes as you're speaking.
Not a problem. You see, because I know that as a Christian, from Genesis to Revelation, you must accept everything, okay? Yeah. So, when it tells you that you must keep your oaths no matter what, in your conversation, I think it was with Shamsi, you made it very clear that, look, you are told to deceive, because you referred to Surah 3, okay? This goes to the heart of what you are saying, because I'm not only talking about oaths, Let's, like I said to you, let's cut the chase. Let's look at what one basis can demolish the whole edifice, okay? So I would say to you, look, if I was looking at the Bible, okay, and you tell me that you must keep your oaths no matter what, I would suggest to you that, look, as human beings, the Creator gives us the guidance, and the guidance is for our benefit, not for the benefit of the Creator, unless you believe that God can come down as a man. That's a different issue, okay? So I would ask you, Arul, if I were to tell you that, look, the agreement or the oath, especially in the context of Surah 66 that you brought up, and you are aware of it because of what had happened between the Prophet and the wives, okay? In certain circumstances, if me and you have an agreement and you breach the agreement, am I entitled to nullify it?
Is that a rhetoric question?
No, I'm asking you.
So now, is it my chance?
No. You see, I said a conversation. And in a conversation, like when you asked me a question, I answered and then I proceeded. And you proceeded also. One second, Arul.
Please go on.
No. I told you we'll have a conversation. So I'm asking you now, that if me and you have an agreement, okay, and you break that agreement, am I entitled to also break it?
I'm not sure if that's relevant.
I thought you would say that. So let me go forward. Relevant. Okay, so what is happening here is this. If I were to say, look, according to my understanding of the Bible, okay, the Creator, according to the Bible, in fact, the contents are replete with the Creator himself being quite deceptive, him deceiving. Forget about human beings. Now, I would ask you that, look, I've given you the explanation about the verse you brought up. The 2 Samuel one, I'm saying to you, look, if I were to kindly ask you to go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 14, verse 9. If you can go to that, and let's just read it so that we know where we are. If you can just please. I'll hold it for you if you want.
I'm assuming somewhere down the line you're going to reconcile the attributes that we just spoke about.
Oh,
somewhere
yes,
down the
yes,
line.
yes.
Ezekiel
14:9.
Ezekiel 14:9.
Yeah.
And if the prophet is induced to speak anything, I, the Lord, have induced that prophet, and I will stretch out my hand against him and destroy him from among my people Israel.
Okay. When it says, I have induced, what does the word mean?
Sorry, Shabir.
Oh,
I'm planning to have a Shabir. I'm not here for a Q&A. I'm not here for an interrogation. I'm here for a discussion. I have raised a challenge. I'm going to give you time for you to make your points.
I made it.
Have you made that? In which case I can go back. I can go back to some of your...
One second, Arul.
Yeah.
I told you I am not going to have... One second, Arul. At the start I made it very clear. In all honesty, Arul, this conversation I'm only allowing. Yeah? And I'll tell you. I am saying to you that when the verse is telling you something, okay, I am suggesting to you that that particular verse is very clear. It is talking about the Creator deceiving people. Very clear. The Creator is saying, one second, the Creator is saying, I deceive. Now, what I said to you is, look, you can do that as much as you want. The point is, I'll read it for you, okay?
Brother, can I by all means read it and make your
hold this?
points.
Thank you. Yeah?
By all means, you can read and make
right.
your points, and then I'll jump in with my response.
No. I would expect you. I would expect you to respond to my question like I did to yours.
I'll come back with my response. I'll jump in
okay.
with my
Good.
response.
Good. Excellent. That is. Now, I have made it very clear.
I think Shabir, you might want to come here just.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Can you see me? Am I handsome enough?
We're fine.
Okay then. Right, okay.
We're in the limitations of 10.
Right. 14, verse 9. Yeah? It says, I am Jehovah, and when the prophet is inveigled, so that he speaks a word, I, Jehovah, have inveigled that prophet. What does the word invade mean? Can we Google it, please?
No.
The word invade.
Shabir.
One second. Arul, look. I think what you need to understand, in a conversation, Arul, you have your way of doing things. Let me have mine. Don't impose on me. All I am saying to you is, look, the whole basis, and I did say that, the whole edifice can be demolished if I can prove to you, using only one verse, that the Creator, according to the Bible, deceives. And if that, one second, if that is the case, then anything you subsequently say has to be justified in the context.
I'm talking about keeping oaths.
Let me finish.
Keeping oaths.
Let me finish. Arul,
Shabir,
let me finish. Have you found it? What does it say?
Persuade someone to do something by means of
what?
Deception or
Shabir.
Now, whoa. Don't, calm down, Arul. Look, I am saying to you, the word is very clear that this is what, according to Ezekiel 14:9, according to the Bible, God personally deceives. Now, in one of the videos, you made it very clear to whoever you're speaking to that when they refer to Jeremiah, it wasn't God directly deceiving. Well, this particular...
Shabir, I'm willing to have a long conversation with you about deception.
Arul,
I'm willing to have that.
Right.
But today, not that.
Arul,
we're talking about keeping oaths.
Arul, you are...
Simple.
Arul, no.
Sticking to your word.
Listen. You said, you said to me, you've come with an agenda of what the discussion should be. I said to you, look, are we going to include the whole of the Bible? Yes, we are going to include it. Now, how I'm making the point, and I made it clear to you, that look, when it comes to the ideas of deception, breaking of oaths, etc.,
they're not the same.
One second.
Two
If I can finish, Arul. For you to use the Bible is virtual suicide, respectfully. Now, why I'm saying that, I'm using this verse, as I told you, you see, when you talk about oaths, yeah, these are legal elements, okay? I will give you an example, and I want you to follow this through. Yeah? The rabbis, okay, collectively established 613 commandments. Okay? 248 were positive, 365 negative. Out of that, number N294, it says, according to their understanding of the Torah, very clearly they say that if a person commits a sin under duress, they are not to be punished. That they have gleaned from the Bible. The question I would ask is, if their understanding of the Torah is that if you commit a sin under duress, it is not to be considered a sin. If you are forced to lie, according to them, you don't get punished. Now, I am saying to you, if you use the Bible to try and justify how just, for want of a better word, the Creator is, then you are committing virtual suicide. Now, I'm asking you, according to Ezekiel 14:9, you talk about oaths. I'm suggesting to you that the very being that allegedly is telling you to keep to your oaths is himself, I'm using the word himself, telling you that he deceives people. Now, I'm asking you, Arul, a simple question. According to Ezekiel 14:9, if you agree with me that yes, the Creator is saying he deceives, then anything else that he says has to be taken with a pinch of salt. Do you agree?
Shabir, is it my
your
turn
turn
now?
Your turn.
Good, thank you. Shabir, I thank you very much that in the 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes of your response, I do not see, apart from the last half a minute or so, I don't actually see a proper response to the point that I raised, which is keeping oaths. Duress is the only explanation I saw there, nothing else. And you, of course, because you couldn't answer the question I am raising, you are going all over the place, bringing in the idea of deception. I'm willing, by the way, I'm very, very willing. I had that with Shamsi the other day. I'm willing to have a debate with you, Shabir, on deception, Islamic Allah versus Yahweh. Very, very open. Let's do that maybe next time you are here. Let's try and do that. But that is not the point of conversation here. Muhammad with his wives, no duress involved, even if you think duress is an excuse. Here we're talking about his wives, no duress involved. The point was about a simple oath, and Muhammad, Allah, I'm assuming you would think, Allah doesn't go through duress from anyone, and therefore I'd expect him to uphold a superior moral quality, which he doesn't seem to. He legally sanctions absolution from oaths, which is something which Yahweh does not do, even if it means a few people are going to die. Gibeonites, the point I raised, the point was Gibeonites, Canaanites were supposed not to be touched purely because an oath was given. Now let me go back to a few points you raised. Thankfully, Shabir, quite early in the conversation, thankfully, you said we could end the conversation here. Because you said, obviously, Islamic Allah is different from the Bible.
I didn't say I'm interjecting. No, I'm sorry. I'm interjecting.
Shabir,
No.
Shabir.
No, Arul, okay, I will end this conversation now. Do not put words into my mouth which I have not said. You did that with those two brothers. I noticed. One second, Arul. Yeah,
viewers would notice again, Shabir.
One second.
The point you made.
Look, the viewers, I appreciate and I respect the viewers, whoever they may be. But what you are doing is being very conniving, and that is not very Christian-like. Okay? Let me say
Shabir,
one second, Arul. 1 second.
Here. Let's get back to my
nor are
turn.
you my judge. Let me say what I want to say.
And I never judged you. I let you make your point when you were making points.
Listen. I said to you at the start, I want a decent conversation. You are making too many snide remarks, and I am aware of them. 1 second, let me finish. Let me finish, Arul. I don't come here to have these kinds of banter. I come here to have a reasonable conversation. Now, you must understand something you seem to not be able to understand. if I have given my response,
Yep.
one
then wait for me to speak.
second, no. When I have given my response, it is entirely your decision to say whether I answered it or not. However, after I have given my response, I asked a question. That is what you should respond to first before you go on to your other points.
That is what you're
now,
dictating. That
No,
is
no,
not
no.
true.
It's only reasonable.
Shabir, I let you speak. Can I speak now? It's my turn. You just seem to be offended.
No, I'm not offended.
So-
I just think you are being very conniving.
Thank you. Let everyone
I'm
judge.
sure.
Let people judge, and let an overall God judges overall.
Are you doing
Shabir,
this? Are you doing this for the people or for us to
Shabir,
understand?
Shabir,
Come on.
why did you bring the cameras?
Hey?
Why did you bring the cameras?
Why did you wait for the cameras?
Because I want people to listen. You don't seem to want to do that for some reason. I don't know why.
but in a reasonable way, not
Shabir,
like
Shabir,
this.
let's not do these. We don't. I mean,
Right. Can you just go ahead?
so
Go
anyway,
ahead.
all the deception.
Don't worry
showing
about
up
us. Worry about you.
No, that's
Carry
fine.
on.
So, you, somewhere in your response, you essentially said we could end the conversation here, and you said if the Quran goes against the Bible, which seems to be the case here, Islamic Allah legally sanctions absolution from oath, and here in the Bible, Yahweh thinks even in the worst of your situations, you still need to keep your oath. That seems to be the polar opposite difference, and you suggested when we encounter such a difference, the only recourse you would have is to suggest that the Quran is the one which supersedes. You said the biblical revelation has been superseded by the Quran according to the Quran. I think you mentioned Surah chapter 5, I think. That is what you said. I didn't put words into your mouth. You can check out your recording. That was your explanation. I'd like to thank you at least for saying that you haven't got any other valid explanation for the fact that there is polar opposite characteristic between the Islamic Allah and Yahweh clearly showing up there. You then also went on to make a remark about the Quran talking about us having to be just and so on and good and so on. You made that at the start. My problem is this. If a person makes 10 truthful statements and 2 untruthful statements, by simple convention of language and practice, we'd call him a liar.
Okay.
Not a truthful man.
Okay.
The moment you have one immoral attribute, and in this case that being absolution of oaths, i.e. not having to keep your word, if that is what is coming from Islamic Allah, we could go through all other attributes a bit later. The moment we see this, we already see an immoral Islamic Allah who can't be reconciled with the Yahweh of the Bible. You also said Islamic Allah might have suggested this. I don't think you made this point quite in this way, but you were talking about whatever Islamic Allah said was for our benefit, not for his benefit, not for the benefit of the Creator and so on. Absolutely, that is not the point here. I'm not asking who benefits from what. All that I'm asking is, what is the characteristic of Islamic Allah versus the characteristic of Yahweh? Islamic Allah seems to be quite casual with, even for simple things about this lady and that lady, even for simple things like that, he seems to be quite all right with people not keeping their word.
I'm sorry,
and
Arul,
I'm saying
Arul.
Yahweh does not allow that to happen.
Okay, no problem.
In other words,
one second, Arul.
I'll come.
You are taking too much time.
But making
let's
sensible
restrict it.
comments
Not
about
at
the
all.
topic we're talking about.
They are illogical.
Islamic Allah
Can we just
is
restrict
polar
it?
opposite to Yahweh.
Okay.
You haven't given a reasonable explanation as to why this is the case. I could suggest, if you just give me one moment, I could suggest why this is the case. 1 minute.
No. It's my.
I could suggest why this is the case, and the suggestion that I have is, the God of the Bible, with all his signs and wonders, is the only true God who cares about morality. Islamic Allah, on the other hand, doesn't seem to have a proper standard of morality.
Yeah.
And in this particular case,
fine.
not caring to
Right.
stick to his word.
Okay.
Therefore, I earnestly invite you to come to the one who has a superior
Okay.
moral standard, Yahweh.
Excellent.
Islamic
Yeah.
Allah
Can-
would not even keep his word in regards to you going to heaven. Forget about him.
Right.
Come back to
Excellent.
Jesus.
Okay. Now you see, Arul, you made so many points, but the ones that I would really like to respond to are the ones that are appropriate to the conversation. I said to you very clearly, sorry. My coat is getting heavy.
Whose is this?
Right, it's ours. Right, Arul? You see, you said something quite important. Yeah, you said if a person tells eight truths and 2 lies, you, according to your standard of the Bible, would consider him a liar.
Normal convention.
No, I was going to come to that. 1 second. And you also said that conventionally speaking, that is how one would be viewed. Okay, no problem. I asked you, and I even told you, and I'll repeat it again just in case you missed it. When you referred to that particular surah, I then said in response, look, in Surah 4:135, this is what it says about how we have to be just even against ourselves. Now, what you seem to have totally missed is that if there is any issue about the suspension or the absolution of oaths, there is a specific reason to it. I think it totally missed you. I then referred to N294 of the 613 commandments as evinced by the Jewish scholars. They say that it is not a sin if you are going to be accused of a sin which was done under duress. Now I then said to you, wait a minute, Arul, if you are saying 8 truths and 2 untruths makes a person by convention a liar, I then said to you, okay, Ezekiel chapter 14 verse 9 says that God directly deceived. Now,
Never does.
whoa, 1 second. God directly deceived. I'll read it again for the purposes of clarification.
Show me, just because you brought that up, Shabir, show me one person in the Bible who God deceived. One person,
Arul,
please.
calm down. I didn't interject. Now I've told you very clearly. I am asking you, and I get, brother, is there a problem? Are you talking to me or are you talking to him? Oh, okay, that's fine. Ezekiel 14:9. Brother, I know I'm disturbing you, but can you just pull up the word invade again? Right? And you see, now it will make sense to you when I said that, look, if we wanted to end this conversation with one statement, and there are a few others which I haven't even referred to yet, one statement here, chapter 14 verse 9 of the book of Ezekiel is very clear. Okay? I want you to tell me, when it says here, I am Jehovah, and when the prophet is invade so that he speaks a word, I, Jehovah, have invade that prophet. What does the word invade mean?
Persuade someone to do something by means of deception or flattery.
Now, does it say here that the Creator, Jehovah, according to the biblical understanding, deceived this particular individual? Yes or no?
Shabir, I am willing to have a long
conversation.
I know, but yes, irrelevant to the conversation now.
Arul, 1 second. I'll tell you how it is relevant. You need to expand your understanding. Yeah, you see, Arul, if according to your understanding and your view, which you hold strongly, Arul, you said very clearly, a person who says 8 truths and 2 lies conventionally is called a liar. I'm saying, listen, you are referring to 2 Samuels, you are referring to how oaths must be held to. I'm saying to you, wait a minute, how in the world are you trusting something where the very author is saying that he is a deceiver? Now, I'm asking you a simple question. According to this verse, Arul, does it say God deceived this person? Yes or no?
Shabir, is that your turn?
No, I'm asking first, and then I can go forward. Yes or no? Is it saying?
My response, Shabir, is clear. Yahweh of the Bible. I have read my Bible carefully, right through, and I can challenge you. God of the Bible does not deceptively act. Period.
Okay, Arul.
Period.
Arul.
Now, can I please also suggest that's an ocean
Arul, my friend,
you can hide in, which I don't want to happen.
Arul, you are drowned in it. I am not even hiding. Listen to me, Arul.
Can we please come back?
I have come back. I don't think you are conceiving of what I'm saying. I'll simplify it a bit more. Listen, Arul. I said to you, if you are going to accuse, or rather suggest that the Quranic creator, okay, allows willy-nilly, according to you, to break oaths, I'm saying, wait a minute, I have explained to you. Are you familiar with the 613 commandments as evinced by the Jewish scholars? Are you familiar with them?
I am.
You are. So in 294, where it says very clearly, one second, where it says very clearly that, look, if a person sins under duress, they are not to be punished. Now, you see, Arul, you need to expand your thinking. What I mean by that is that there are going to be reasons or certain actions that are going to be undertaken by people which were forced on them. So, for example, if somebody forces you or puts you under pain of death to deny the Creator, and you deny the Creator, are you found guilty according to N294? The answer is no. I know you will not respond. Okay, now I'm asking you a simple question, Arul. According to your standard, this standard of keeping oaths even to death, as you said, I'm asking you a simple question based on that. According to the very same book, which is talking about the God that you believe in, which is apparently polar opposite, in Ezekiel 14:9 is saying very clearly, he deceives a person directly. I'm asking you a simple question, Arul, in the context of this moral aspect. Do you agree that according to Ezekiel 14:9, here I'm reading it, it is saying God deceived this particular individual? Yes or no?
Which individual?
Do you want to read it? I thought you've read the Bible.
I know. Which
I'll read
individual?
it again.
Do you have a specific name there? Please
I'll read it again. It actually says, I have deliberately deceived the prophet.
Which one?
Does it matter now?
It really matters.
Oh, excellent. Let's go back.
Because you see,
excellent.
This is what Samshi did the other day.
No. Excellent.
This is what Samshi did the other day.
Excellent.
He brought in a case where God hadn't deceived anyone, but because Samshi can't read beyond a particular word, not the entire statement.
Excellent. The whole thing here is about what? Prophets.
Which
false prophets?
Which ones?
Here, false ones. Okay. Now, I'm asking.
So which particular prophet is that talking about?
Do you want the context as well? No problem.
Which particular prophet is that talking about?
I'm so glad you are asking me that. It means you have taken actually a step forward. Good. Now, one second.
I'll let
my
you
friend,
finish, and then I need to move on now.
No, here it is. It is taking you and some of the elders of Israel at chapter 14. Start. Okay. It talks about them. You carry on reading it. Here is the classic issue which you are now trying to...
Have you got an answer, Shabir?
I'm giving you the answer.
Which prophet was deceived?
I'm giving you the answer.
Please give me the answer.
I am giving you the answer. Okay? I am telling you here, when it comes all the way back to here, the question that is being asked and you are now trying to avoid is simple. Can you read yours as well?
No, Shabir,
Come on, Arul, come on. It is a very important issue.
To play some little games here. I'm here to deal with serious moral
but I think
issues.
Brother Arul is having
Shabir,
a problem.
My challenge in that regard...
It's a moral issue. I'll tell you what.
Have you finished now?
One second. No, I asked you a very simple one. 3 times I'm asking, and I'll ask you again. Okay? The whole of the chapter is there. You can read it as well. I'm here. I'm telling you where it is talking about. I, Jehovah, am going to reply to him. I, Jehovah, have deceived that prophet and will swing my hand over him and rout him out. The question you are asking, well, listen to your logic. I'm saying to you, wait. whether it's James, John, Jesus, Muhammad, Arul, Shabir, whoever. The issue is not that. The issue is, does it say that he, God, is the one deceiving? Yes or no?
Is that an end of your term?
No, I'm asking a question.
You're asking me many
Arul.
questions.
I haven't asked you, I've only asked you one. Does it say here? Does it say here? Because you are not answering. You keep going all over.
No, you make your points and then let me respond. Please,
Arul, you have been accustomed to having these kinds of discussions. I don't have discussions like this. I said a conversation, and part of the conversation is that when a question is asked, like you had asked me, I responded to it.
I never asked you such questions. I finished I presented to you a case for you to respond.
I'm saying, okay, I'll tell you what, in 2 points. Number one, I gave you a very clear indication of what the Creator is saying to us. If you want to misconstrue it, that's entirely your decision about the Quran in Surah 66. So, okay, one second, let me finish. Yeah, I now am saying to you, look, whatever basis of morality you seem to hold as being superior from the Bible, I am saying to you, look, according to the standards of the Bible, everything, unfortunately, is a total fail. Why? Because this verse here, which again you still are resisting and coming out with, which prophet that? No, the issue is not who the person being, who the person being addressed is or ought to be. The issue here is a simple one, and I'm going to ask you one last time, and I hope you have the courage to answer. It says here, I, Jehovah, have deceived that
Can you
prophet.
get the definition again,
Now,
please?
can I ask you, one second, can I ask you, do you agree that here it says that Jehovah deceived?
So, Shabir, the definition he brought up before us, persuade, not deceive, persuade, to do something.
Yeah.
That's the definition, not deceive. Persuade to do something by means of one of two things, according to this definition. One of two things. One of them is deception, and the other one is flattery. That is the definition here. Now, if you want to run, now, excuse me, Shabir, I am now answering. Before.
I'm not saying anything.
Good. Thank you. If you would listen, please.
I'm listening.
My point is this.
I can do two things at the same time.
The reason I asked you for the name of the prophet there is not because I wanted to find who you think Yahweh was deceiving, but rather my point was because we disagree on the definition, on the meaning of the statements that you are reading, I wanted us to go through the illustration of the example for us to clearly see Yahweh of the Bible does not deceive. There was a particular case I had a discussion with Samshi, where the illustration involved false prophets, Yahweh himself, true prophet, and a king. If you take every single entity involved in that conversation, which Samshi thought God was deceiving, none of them was deceived.
Right.
Every single one knew that a lying spirit had gone out with lies and had spoken to false prophets.
Okay.
Every single one of them knew. No deception involved. Samshi could not even read the context entirely. He was sticking to one word here, one word there. And that seems to be what you are doing there. And that is where I wanted an illustration. Anyway, my point is this. The explanation you have given, what I wanted to discuss about today was about keeping oath. And the point there is Yahweh of the Bible sticks to his word no matter the cost.
Arul.
No matter the cost.
Sorry,
Islamic
Arul,
Allah.
what are you saying? No. Hey, come on, you are not being fair now.
Islamic
Arul,
Allah, on the other hand.
Arul, let's go back to the word in
Surah
way.
66, verses 1, 2, 3, if I could
Arul,
read.
let's go back to the word in way.
Why prohibit you that which Allah has made lawful for you, seeking to please your wives? What duress is involved here? No duress is involved. I'm not saying under duress you can lie. I'm not saying under duress you can break your oath. I'm not suggesting that at all. Yahweh never suggests that to happen. But all that I'm saying is purely because you brought duress into the picture, I'm just clarifying to you clearly there is no duress involved. This is a domestic issue between a man and a couple of his wives. That seems to be the problem. No duress involved, unless you're going to suggest Aisha threatened to kill Muhammad, or some other wife of Prophet Muhammad threatened to kill him. If that is what you're going to suggest,
Arul,
that's fine.
Arul,
Allah has made
Arul,
lawful for you, lawful,
Arul,
legal for you,
Arul,
absolution from your oaths, and Allah is your protector. And it goes on to say, when the Prophet confided a fact to one of his wives,
Arul.
and when she afterwards divulged it, and Allah informed him of it, he made known part of it and passed over part.
Yes.
The point here is, if you both turn to Allah repentant, what is repentant according to him?
Yeah.
Not having to keep your oath. He's repenting.
Right, okay.
To me, that's a weird definition of repentance, and that is a weird moral character which is of God.
Okay.
And therefore, my suggestion, Shabir, is instead of you trying to get all your dictionaries and all that, I'm willing to have a long conversation. I'm willing to have a long conversation of whether Yahweh of the Bible is a deceiver, or if Allah is the greatest of deceivers, Islamic Allah. I'm willing to have that long conversation, but not today. The point today is keeping oaths. Islamic Allah doesn't care to. He advances the idea of not keeping it. Yahweh wants people to keep it. He is the only true God. Islamic Allah either does not exist or is subhuman in moral character.
Arul, please stop preaching so much. Okay, listen. I said very quickly, we are going to conclude now. I think it's, all I said to Brother Arul was, if the foundation is totally destroyed, then anything above it is just pie in the sky, respectfully. Now, this one? Okay. Now, here is what I said. What Brother Arul tried, he tried a quick one, and I don't blame him, he had to. He quickly asked you to bring up the thing, the definition. And he then used the other words, apart from deception, he used the other words which according to him may apply to that. And I said Ezekiel 14:9, I'm going to read it again. All I want you to do is respond now, okay? It's a very simple thing, okay? It says here, and if the prophet be deceived and speak a word, I, the Lord, have deceived that prophet. Now, do you agree that the word here is deceived?
The word used here is but
deceived.
The statement is much wider than the word, and the meaning of the statement must be understood in the context of the passage.
I'm so glad. You see, you must do it in the context. You must do it in the context.
Yes, wives,
one second.
Keeping it.
One second. When it comes to Islam, as I had said earlier on, I said, look, you need to understand. Just reading like this doesn't work. However, what you cannot escape from right now is, does it say here, God deceived the prophet? Yes or no?
No, it's a wider statement.
Does it say God deceived according to this?
No, it's a wider statement.
Let me read it again and tell me if my English is correct. I, the Lord, have deceived the prophet. I, the Lord, have deceived. What does that mean? I'm asking.
Can you please make your point?
I, the Lord, what does I, the Lord, have deceived mean?
Can you please make your point?
Arul, I'm asking you a simple question. It's English. I, the Lord, have deceived. What does it mean?
So what
does it mean?
Shabir, let's not play simple games here. The fact of the matter,
respectfully,
Shabir.
I would say one thing. Go and learn a bit more, and then we'll have a conversation.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
but Shabir,
because one second.
That's fine.
Because Arul,
I'm willing.
Arul, I've asked a simple question, and all I want is a simple answer before we conclude. Does it say, I, the Lord, deceived?
That's not the nature of any conversation, Shabir.
Does it say, I, the Lord, deceived?
Shabir, a simple point here is that you don't seem to know how to read a statement in its context. Now, obviously, we disagree on this particular regard. I challenge you for a detailed debate, and when we do that, I encourage you to bring examples of a few people who God Yahweh deceived, and we could deal with those detailed
excellent.
cases.
No.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, Arul. I tell you what, you have, respectfully, you have said something very sensible now. Listen, you know what you did? I'm going to say.
I'm not asking you for your comment on your evaluation. You seem to jump up and down in terms of
your
evaluation.
I followed you. I'll go with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I said to you, Arul, you have come up with a very good idea now, honestly.
Now,
yeah, no,
but before that, can we please finish up what we're doing
we've
now?
already concluded. God is a deceiver according to the Bible.
The conclusion
That's the
is
end of it.
Islamic Allah does not keep His word. Yahweh
you are entitled
of the
to that
Bible
opinion.
keeps His word. This is not my opinion. This is straight from your Quran and straight from my Bible.
How can it be when Ezekiel 49 says he
opinions
deceives? Come
involved.
On. Yeah, okay.
About deception, I'm willing to have a long conversation.
I'll tell you what.
When we do that, by all means, bring an example of a person who Yahweh deceived, and then we can see what the nature of the dynamic involved is, and then talk about that.
Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do, Arul. Yeah, I'm going to conclude. Look, I respectfully would say that anyone who has, and I don't mean this about you, anyone who has any logical approach, an intelligent approach to subject matter, would actually address the matter in detail rather than doing what our brother here just did by referring to one verse. He didn't pay any attention to the verses I had brought up, which clearly are potentially conflicting, but it means that you need to understand what and how oaths ought to be administered. Okay? Now, I can say very clearly that, look, if you are going to take the Quran as the basis for understanding, then I would equally want to take the Bible as a basis for understanding. And in that regard, I said to Arul very clearly that according to the Bible, it's very clear. I read the statement from the Bible that God deceives. Now, if according to the verses, and there's only one, there are many others we can address. But what I would not want to do, as Arul has done, is just take one, sometime totally out, and he did refer to the context, totally out of context. I do know one thing, that if we have a detailed discussion, subject matter chosen and subject matter will be abided by, rather than what Arul did quickly, came here and changed the whole goalposts. I forgive him for it anyway. At the end of the day, I can have with you, Arul, a detailed discussion, debate, call it what you want, on a subject matter, and I can confidently assure you, you will agree with me that the Bible ought not to be the book collectively as guidance for humanity.
So,
one second, if I can just, so what I want you to do, Arul, agree with me a particular topic and don't change it midway.
I did not change it.
No, you changed it totally when you came.
Nature, moral nature of God, and I specifically chose.
Arul,
go on,
we had agreed legal elements. The video is up, and you
can check out the video. Nature of God. Nature of God is an expression I used.
No, I said it should have been a collective one. I'll tell you why, brother. You see, he went specific. Honestly, I can take this and ride with it, hold it. But I don't want that. We want to come to a common understanding.
Worst case, there has been a misunderstanding. Possibly,
no, not worst case.
But best
no
case,
misunderstanding. You changed the goalposts.
I disagree with.
You are
morality.
To that.
Torah versus Sharia, nature of God, Yahweh versus Islamic Allah, are the statements, are the expressions I used. You can check up the video later. But if you have a grievance there, I'm willing to concede by saying, you know what, in a communication between human beings, there is a chance that things could have been misunderstood.
Not at all.
I'm willing to have a more detailed sort of definition this time. But just to quickly add, let's read this.